Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models, and this is the 1 in 48 scale by Kinetic's C-2A Greyhound, and it's in the USS Ronald Reagan paint scheme. Right, so the final conclusion of this kit, you know, is it any good and all this kind of stuff and what problems, just to quickly run down for you. Well, first off, the instructions. Now, I said in the inbox review that they didn't look too bad, but I did find that in a few places it was really kind of like, what are you actually telling me to do? For example, the landing gear, okay, it was a bit complicated. It wasn't very kind of accurate in telling you how it needs to go together and everything. It just seemed to, in places, just go part number whatever and just have a little arrow pointing somewhere on the model, and you literally had to kind of try and work it out where exactly it wanted that piece to go. The same was for the rear kind of main cargo bay door. It was a bit kind of, you know, you had to kind of cut the pieces out and then had to try and see exactly where they went because the instructions weren't that clear. Apart from that, the whole kind of build process wasn't, shall we say, a has-a-go kit, okay? There was a lot of filler, a lot of sanding, a lot of scribing going on with this particular kit. I know with the fuselage section, getting that seamless line down the back and underneath really needed quite a bit of filler, and pretty much everywhere else that pretty much had any kind of like anything gluing to it needed that bit of filler, okay? It wasn't, shall we say, a major fit issue. It was just one of those, do you know, one of those models that are just a general all-round, it just needs a bit of filler here, there and everywhere, okay? Also, on the build side of things, the internal kind of the internal seats and all that kind of stuff that goes on inside, well, I found that because I closed the back door, you couldn't actually see anything in there, so I actually left off the seats, and there's like two walls that go over either side. I didn't even bother gluing them in because you didn't need to. You can't see in there. It just saves on weight and everything. The other thing was, it does ask you to put in a 50-gram weight into the nose section, which you know, is quite a lot of weight, and you can actually really feel it, but you really do need that weight. What else was there? I also ended up with a lot of pieces left over as well. I mean, I ended up with like cockpits and dials and sets of propellers and tails and everything, loads and loads of pieces left over. So I'm kind of assuming that there's quite a few different versions and stuff, so they put lots and lots of pieces in, but you shouldn't really worry about that. The other side was, I know with these kind of kits where you have wings folded, that you can have a problem actually kind of getting it to look nice when you want the wings extended. However, with this kit it wasn't that bad. Actually, it fitted quite nicely and it didn't need that much filling, sanding and scribing, compared to some kits I've done where, you know, you've had to make them extended. It can, where it's joined here, it look a little nasty and you really need to put some work into it, but as you can see, it has actually gone together quite nicely. Good things about the build as well I'd like to show is, I really do like how you've got all these flaps. I mean, there's like 6 separate flaps, and they are you know, they are kind of maneuverable in different positions, different degrees, and all 6 of them kind of at different angles, as well as we have like we've had to spray it red inside as well, and I do really like how it kind of sets it off and livens it up than being just a flat plain straight wing sort of thing. apart from that, I mean, build side of it as well, as always, I always leave my propellers unglued and just have like a little something just to kind of like screw it on here like that, because if anything's going to break, it's going to be these propellers. Other little problems as well, you've got these little tiny I'm not sure what they are, like little aerial things that come off the just here and just at the back here. Bit of a nightmare because they just keep breaking off, you keep gluing them on, a bit of a pain. So I don't know, probably next time what I'd probably do is I'd probably just cut all these little bits that stick off at the end, cut them off, make a really tiny little drill hole, and maybe use some really kind of like a less than a mil kind of lead wire, rather than these things that just keep on breaking off. Spray side of it, okay, I do like the spray side, but it was quite a lot of masking. I mean, masses of masking, because as you can see, what we've got is, I mean, underneath, I mean, we've got this white going on, then we've got this bit of a camo going on with our grey, and then you've got like on the tails here you've got some like a royal blue going on, then you've got the black going on around our on our wingtips here and everything, which although was a lot of masking to get all these different colours going on and everything, I really do think it gives it a lot of life and makes it quite a bit of, shall we say, eye candy, in the sense that you've got a lot going on. It's not plain, it's not like normal aircrafts where it's just one colour underneath, one colour on top, maybe the nose is a different colour. I mean, there's a lot going on with this, and I really do think it gives it a lot of nice life. It was, shall we say, tricky, because I mean it was a lot of masking going on, and you know, lots of different colours going on here and there, but I do like the way the whole spraying went on. I also did use the new Citadel white scar, no, not that one, sorry. I used the new Citadel white, which is a base white, and it's got a high pigment count, so you can literally thin it something like 60–70% thinners to paint, so you know, you can save on your paint a bit, and that's what I sprayed it white. And then I came in with Vallejo's 71050 light grey for the grey areas. And that was the spraying stage. The decaling stage, now I did say that the decals were made by cartographer and designed by Delta something. I forgot what it was, but it was Delta something. And because it was made by cartographer, I mean, every set of decals I've ever used with them, I mean, they've always been the best. I mean, they're supposed to be the best kind of decal manufacturer in the world, and I thought I was going to have no problems whatsoever. However, I think this, I think it's Delta Cross who say, it says on the decals Delta Cross designed them. I think Delta Cross might have had a bit more say or something with the decals than cartographer, because these decals weren't your usual standard cartographer decals. They were a bit of a pain. I mean, they did conform nicely to micro, salt and set. They did wrinkle up, they did conform to the model, they did go into the recesses, you know, they did that job really nice, but they were an absolute nightmare when trying to maneuver them on the model. What I mean by this is, what you normally do with decals, okay, you put a bit of water down, say, onto the model, and then you slide the decal off, okay, and then you position the decal and slide it around on the model and you get it in the right position. However, there's some sort of something going on with the decal, okay, where as soon as it gets onto the model, that's it, it just sticks down virtually instantly, okay. So once you've slid it off and you try and maneuver that decal, you can't maneuver it, it's just welded down, and it was just a right pain with big decals like this one here, especially the ones here on the tail. absolute nightmare to try and maneuver it in position, because you had to be careful not to slide it so much that you end up ripping the decals, but you couldn't slide it into any kind of position you wanted to. So it was a lot of kind of like peeling it up and trying to peel it back down, and all sorts of trying to get it in position. I mean, I eventually got there, but as I say, it was a right pain with some of the big decals. As well as that, I forgot to mention on the build side of it, I mean, the seats in here are quite bland. I would recommend you get some sort of photo etch, some sort of Edard kind of seat belts and stuff, because it is, I mean, it does look good. I mean, you can't really see mega that well inside this cockpit area, but you know, it would have been nicer to get some photo etch kind of seat belts and stuff like that. Apart from that, the whole kind of finishing side of it, I mean, it was nice. I've lightly weathered it up using oils and all that kind of stuff, a bit of pigments here and there. So the final conclusion of this kit, well, first off, the price. I did actually make a mistake in the inbox review. I said it was something like £30–40, where actually it's not. You're talking about paying about the £50 mark actually for a kit like this. So is it worth the money? Well, I'd say it is worth the money, because I mean, it is a huge model here. If I can just get my tape measure, I mean, the wingspan of this model is like 52 centimeters by what we've got going on here, 36 across. It is a big model. You get a lot of plastic for your money. Yes, it's not had fit issues, it's just had a general kind of sand around fill in. Yes, a little problematic there. Decals a little problematic, but I mean, considering the size of it and the colourfulness of it, I mean, you do get a lot for your money, and for £50 I definitely do think it's worth it, because it is a big model and there isn't no major fit issues. You do have a lot of nice detail going on here, you know, for that kind of price range. You know, so yeah, it definitely is worth the money. So apart from that, I mean, it has been an enjoyable build. So until next time, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of final conclusion and everything. So my name's Bobby Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I'll see you next time.